This week on Ag Week at Thanksgiving time, we're going to take a grander, broader look back and forward at the past growing season and what the winter might do to next spring. First of all, we'll take a look at the shifting drought conditions around the Great Plains, Midwest, and parts of the U.S. this year. It's been a very interesting year. We'll talk about winter precipitation and where that winter moisture might have the best chance of actually having an effect on spring planting and on drought conditions across the region. Going back to this spring, we started out the spring with pretty good moisture across the U.S., except it was pretty dry in the southeast and it quickly got worse in Florida. But by summertime, that went away as the tropical season hit and the drought shifted into the Dakotas and Montana, where through June, July, and August, it was very dry, especially the western part of this region. By the end of summer, drought was beginning to show up in Iowa, down and through Missouri, and it actually was growing a little bit, and the drought diminished a little bit in North Dakota, but overall has remained very dry through the fall season. Meanwhile, in the eastern Corn Belt, there are some areas that are pretty dry, especially down here on the far southern edge of that. Well, what's going to happen as we go into the winter season with the southeast part of the country pockets of drought and the northern plains? Well, let's take a look at the 90-day forecast from the Climate Prediction Center. Below average temperatures in parts of the north, above average in the south, and in some parts of New England. Let's get specific. Because we don't really have a lot of extreme drought going on right now, this is not a major concern, but the La Nina pattern does point toward warmer conditions down in the southern plains, including those winter wheat areas in Oklahoma. Equal chances, though, across Kansas and much of the Corn Belt, and it's really the southeast that's likely to be fairly warm. A colder than average winter is somewhat more likely than average across North Dakota, Montana, with the general region of colder weather expected in the northern plains, but it's iffy. It's not like we're a lock for a super cold winter. More importantly, though, is the moisture. There is an indication of above average precipitation this winter in the northern plains, but let's talk about the south first. Warm, remember, and also probably dry in Texas, but the forecast is more iffy into Oklahoma and Kansas, so we may not see much change there. The southeast looks to be dry. The Corn Belt may, in fact, be fairly wet, but the driest areas of the Corn Belt may not be impacted. So there's potential down here, Missouri and the southern Corn Belt, for maybe a dry start to the season. We'll see. It is a little dry in this area right now. And of course, across the northern plains, we don't get a lot of moisture in the wintertime anyway because it generally all runs off. So winter snows really don't usually have much impact.